Just on these 5 games alone, I have put in almost 10,000 hours. And what do I have to show for this? Well, I got swatted by somebody I was playing against in Rocket League and literally had my life jeopardized. The police raided my house and literally pointed assault rifles at my face, assuming that I was holding somebody hostage when I was just playing video games in my room. I'm not even joking. This actually happened to me, and you know, there's a silver lining because my dog was having a good time. So when I tell you that playing online video games almost killed me, I am serious. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love online gaming. I was born in 2000. I basically came out the womb with a mouse and a keyboard in my hands, and the first time that I played an online game was in 2007, and it was the wonderful world of Club Penguin. This is also where I got my first girlfriend, which, you know, now that I think about it, was probably just like a middle-aged man with a neck beard, but I didn't know at the time. Because of online gaming, I've been an esports player and traveled the world playing video games. I've been a professional commentator and casted in front of a stadium of over 10,000 people. I've written and produced music that actually got placed inside of an online video game.
We on the top and we ain't gonna fall.
But most importantly, I've created and shared some of my favorite moments of all time playing video games with my friends.
I swear to God.
What are you doing? Stay
Go
right.
on the map.
Think about this.
He's
Whoa.
about to come kamikaze.
Hey, look at me. We can get through this.
Oh, he's working on it now.
Oh, he's jerking.
I grew up with a single mother who worked 3 different jobs most of the time. She was an RN for 2 different hospitals, and then she would work home health on the weekends. So that means I basically had free, unrestricted time at home to just be an iPad kid. And what I've realized over the past decade and a half of online gaming is that there is a point of no return with this stuff. I'm like the iPad kid who went beyond the wall and then saw the White Walkers, aka depression, and I'm just coming back to warn all of you that it's coming. And hopefully I can express to you how the future is offline. I absolutely adore Jack in the Box. It is the most disgusting, vile, putrid, probably not sanitary food that I have ever had, and I love it. When I was 18 and I moved out of my grandmother's house for the very first time, I ate the $6 Munchie Meal with the Sriracha Curly Fry Burger every single night for 30 days straight, an entire month, and it gave me hemorrhoids. I'm dead serious. After a month of eating this stuff, I woke up one morning and I thought I had a tumor or like a turd still stuck in my butthole. So I put the camera on the floor in selfie mode and then I squatted over the camera so I could see what was going on down there. Online video games are the exact same as Jack in the Box in this story. They do nothing but give you hemorrhoids and make you do the most diabolical things just to keep your sanity. Because here's the thing, most of these online games, especially the live service games, are just quick hits of dopamine. They're designed to feel good in the moment, but then after playing it, you look at the time and wonder what you've been doing for the past 3 hours. These games are built around the rinse and repeat formula. They are the same cycle over and over again. And don't get me wrong, there is beauty in the simplicity of a lot of these games and shooters. The intricacies and strategies that go into Counter-Strike are something that I'll never be able to comprehend. The mechanics and the play styles that happen inside Rocket League that are literally occurring within split seconds, and then whatever's happening in Fortnite. And mastering the depth and gameplay mechanics of these games is and can be a very rewarding and satisfying experience, but this is all where the addiction begins. The fact that there is no end means that you could play these games and most likely are going to get hooked immediately. There's always another rank to grind to, there's always another daily challenge to unlock, and there's 100% always a brand new skin in the item shop. This addiction and vicious cycle of a never-ending game has become fast food for my brain, but in the gaming sense. I've come to realize that offline games just teleport me out of this cycle and make me enjoy gaming again. They provide a meal and a story that actually nourishes you, well, most of the time. You play through the story, you see the credits roll, and you can walk away from the story, good or bad, knowing that it's over and that you have completed something. There are, of course, exceptions, and a lot of offline games don't offer this type of closure and just loop and go on continuously, but even those games are disconnected, and it feels more like it's a personal challenge, a personal journey that you yourself are going on. Even if you take something like Minecraft, which you could argue goes on forever, even though there is technically a place called The End, you could build and go play this game for the rest of your life. But this game and many other offline ones encourage creativity and spark a sense of exploration where you aren't just chained to the same continuous cycle over and over again, and it feels like you're building something a little bit more meaningful. Not only has gaming become more connected and online than ever, but so has pretty much everything else in our lives. Doing anything nowadays requires an internet connection. That's paying bills, applying for jobs, doing schoolwork, filing taxes, talking to your doctor. Some people don't even go inside of grocery stores anymore. I just experienced this online grocery shopping thing for the first time when I pre-ordered the Switch 2 from Walmart. I forgot to select the in-store pickup option, so I accidentally scheduled it for a home delivery. And on the release day, I got a text from a personal phone number, this wasn't Walmart, of somebody saying, "Good morning, I have your Switch 2, happy Switch 2 day." And this was my first time ever doing this, so I thought that I had to like meet them outside or something because they were personally texting me, so I thought maybe I had to, I don't know, say hi to them or something. I was so confused. So I was waiting outside for the Switch 2 as they're delivering it, and it was just so awkward. And then she handed me the Switch 2, and she was supposed to take a photo, so clearly I wasn't supposed to be there. And then I just got this disaster of a photo of me holding on to the Switch 2, gripping it like my life depends on it. Everything is online right now, and of course, social media is a part of that. I mean, if you're watching this video, then you and myself are both existing on this platform on YouTube. Spending time alone and actually sitting with yourself is harder than ever because there are more and more distractions in front of us. And while I don't think that playing offline games is the same as meditating with Guru Patik in the Eastern Air Temple, it does provide a really nice release from the noise and chaos that being online inflicts. I fell in love with gaming because nothing else in the world would let me immerse myself in a completely different reality the way that the games did. When I was playing Wind Waker, I was inside the story as a kid. I was talking to the characters. I was disconnected from everything else and relieved from the stress or outside responsibilities. I'm not exactly sure when it happened, but at some point, once I started playing mostly online games, whenever I played offline games, it suddenly became this terrifying reminder of the loneliness that I was actually feeling at the time. Something would happen in the game, or I'd be listening and understanding the dialogue, and I'd laugh, and then it would strike this weird chord of loneliness and worthlessness inside of me because nobody else was there to experience it. It was almost as if because I was alone experiencing it, the moment didn't mean as much. It was really weird. And then this is ironically why I started making YouTube videos to begin with, because I wanted to experience these things and have other people with me that weren't at the time. It's weird, dude. This is like a therapy session at this point. I've realized though, after years of dealing with this, that this mindset is extremely volatile and unhealthy. And what it's led me to is just establishing the worst relationship with all of my hobbies. It started with video games, but somehow everything that I did, if it wasn't experienced with other people or making money, was worthless. Returning back to these games, and more specifically a lot of retro games for me lately, has been a way to practice being by myself once more and, doing things that don't have to be made into some type of money-making machine, or actually just being happy alone. And then there is the corporate side of continuously online gaming, which is the most evil part of this entire thing. And greed consumes all of us. Even this channel here has sponsorships and advertisements, but when it comes to offline gaming, there is a level where once you already buy in, hopefully you are not getting advertised to more if things are done correctly, because the company has already taken your money, so they shouldn't be asking for more. This is especially relevant in retro video games, and it's why I love older video games so much, because you can tell that they were designed to give you the full product after you have made the purchase. Everything is there, and it's all at your fingertips to explore and just dive straight into once you have the cartridge. Nowadays, while the games might be free, what you're really exchanging here when you play any free or live service game is your attention and whatever your eyes are fixated on. I'm sure we're all well aware of the effects that Fortnite have had on the industry and just society as a whole. And I understand this business model for sure, but it's just sad whenever I see it bleed into so many different franchises that I love, especially with Skate 3 and Skate 4, the successor. I mean, I don't even know what this really is. It looks like the mechanics are there, but everything else feels quite hollow because it's now a live service game and it's not holding on to the values of what actually made it so great in the first place. And I know that this whole section is just me sounding like, oh, they don't make them like they used to anymore, which is totally valid. I'm sure we're all going to reach a point, maybe even the kids who grew up with Fortnite and live service games will reach a point where they're like, man, I miss the old Fortnite days whenever it was the original battle pass. And what really stings the most about these games isn't the business practice, because they've got to make money. They've got to profit somehow. The game is free. They've got to pay employees. I understand that. The painful part is that these games are not built and designed to last. Servers shut down, updates can change everything, and communities can vanish overnight. I mean, look at what Ubisoft did with The Crew. They pulled the plug on one of their core flagship racing games that was online only, and at first it doesn't seem maybe like the biggest issue until you realize everybody had paid money to own this game. This then got dragged into a lawsuit against Ubisoft, where Ubisoft claimed that nobody actually owned the game anyway and everybody was just buying a license to play the game, which is factual. The more that I dive into this, the more I understand that even with Steam and all the games that you own in your Steam library, you just have a license to play and download those games, but they're not actually owned by you. And to bring it full circle, offline games here are also at risk, but you're most likely at risk for the online games to get pulled because, you know, they have to spend money on the servers to keep the game alive. So if you invest into these games, you have to bank on the company wanting to keep the game running. There's a movement called Stop Killing Games that goes even into further detail. I'm just probably doing a horrible job of representing what they're really about. I'm just trying to understand and grasp this concept of ownership in video games myself. But if you're interested, this is a great resource. I'm supposed to be arguing how offline games are going to save all of us, but to be honest with you, I mean, those have also been falling to the wayside too. So it's like, maybe we should just unplug our routers and then go play poker with my grandma. Does anybody want to join me in the comments? Yo. All right, so I already filmed and scripted out this last section, but I just didn't really like it while I was editing it, so I've decided to just go full stupid mode, and I'm just going to trauma dump even more, and you're going to listen to me because you all love my trauma dumping, right? I'm going to mention this again, but my parents got divorced. Dude, when I tell you that my parents had like the messiest divorce, I am serious, man. Like, these two people have not been in the same room or the same city or the same state since I was 7. Okay, like there's something there, man. It's bad. And I'm also the youngest by far in my family. My brother is 6 years older than me, and then my sister is like 8 years older than me. So I was 100% an accident. Like, I came out the womb as a mistake. I was not supposed to be alive. So from a young age, and especially during the chaos of when all of that stuff started, things didn't really get explained to me about what was happening. Instead, I just kind of was told to go play with my toys and to play video games, and that's exactly what I did. So this is where I really fell in love with gaming as a child, because, you know, no matter what was going on, I always had this to fall back on. And I don't remember it ever being a bad thing. Like, I enjoyed gaming and I had so much fun, and having that as an outlet was so important to me as I reflect on growing up and being a child. And I moved a lot. Like, I moved to different states all the time, especially right before high school. So I didn't have any friends. So playing video games was like the only way that I could truly escape. And then you combine that with online gaming, and then boom, that's where the paradigm shift happened in my brain, where I'm like, oh my God, you know, I don't even need to make friends outside because I'm just going to move anyway. So I might as well just make a bunch of friends online. And I think this is where the seed of poison started for these games, and just playing video games online. And it's not a bad thing, dude. Like, as I'm watching my video that I've been making and I'm editing this thing, I realize that a lot of these perspectives are just specifically because of my inability to like function as a normal adult. But I've just been doing so much reflection when I've been making this video, and I just realized that I never had any problems, or in my opinion saw an unhealthy relationship with video games when it was offline, but everything really shifted when it moved to the online gaming side of things. And that's where the balance and, you know, my lack of emotional healing and all that stuff truly became an issue. You know what I mean? And my main goal with speaking about this and reflecting over the past decade and a half and having jobs in online gaming and also drifting away from offline gaming is to hopefully encourage you to have more of a perspective on what it is that you're giving your attention to and if it's actually making you happy. I just didn't realize that I was so obsessed with online gaming because it filled this void in my life that I was unable to have at the time. And as I've gotten older, I've been like, wait, I need to go outside. It all just comes down to balance at the end of the day. These games are amazing, and there's also a huge movement of like the proximity chat games that I love. Oh my gosh, Lethal Company and like Repo, all these games are sparking something that makes it feel like you're playing online with friends, and it's like co-op couch gaming, but you can do it online whenever you have homies that live in different states. It's the best. Wait, my camera died. I had to fix it. This thing is like from 2002. No, don't go. No. I'm sorry for trauma dumping in this video, especially the hemorrhoid part. That might have been hard to hear. I didn't know how else to end this video. It might ruin retention because I'm just sitting here yapping with a microphone. But thank you so much for being here. I hope that you do find that balance and, you know, just enjoy some offline games. I'll see you next week.
Raindrops keep falling. Sunshine is coming.